Guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, listen. There's a big difference between neglect and neglect. And there are some crimes that are unforgivable out here because there's no reason for it. And no matter how much you talk about what happened, it don't add up. A lot of people need to be eviscerated, especially for the stupid stuff they do, especially when it comes to neglect of another person, so much to the point where they get emaciated and immobile. Today I'm going to talk to you about a story out of Guadalupe County, which is somewhere in Texas. Let me see if I can find this place real quick. Lulling, L-U-L-I-N-G, Lulling, Texas. Shout out Lulling, Texas. And it's about this woman right here. This is 48 years old. She's 48 years old. Her name is Felisa Ann Sepulveda. And Miss Sepulveda has a 32-year-old daughter who was hospitalized. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know this woman at 32 years old, her daughter, who she's the sole caregiver of, was admitted to a hospital. She weighed 55 pounds. The nurses and doctors said she was reminiscent, her condition, of a Holocaust survivor. I want you to think about that. This woman hasn't been bathed in 5 years. And this is why her goofy behind mom is locked up. And if it was up to me, she'd be showing the flowers right now. Here's the story.
Over in Guadalupe County, detectives are investigating a neglect case that involves a mom and daughter. And I want to warn you, the details are hard to hear. Police arrested 48-year-old Felisa Sepulveda, who's now charged with injury to the disabled. Her 32-year-old daughter, who she was supposed to be taking care of, ended up in the hospital weighing just 55 pounds. Sue Kalberg has more on the investigation from Seguin.
Investigators say the case started here in a remote area east of town. They say a 32-year-old woman who lives in this area ended up in the hospital. This affidavit says her doctor told detectives she had injuries consistent with a Holocaust camp survivor. The affidavit says the victim was brought to a Luling hospital on February 28th. They say initially she was treated for pneumonia and dehydration, but as hospital personnel treated her, they said her condition was much worse. They say her caregiver, her mother, claimed her daughter could feed herself and sit up on her own. But doctors told investigators that's just not true, that she would have been dead without medical intervention. The court document says the victim was covered in feces and sores. She was filthy and didn't have the ability to move about due to her emaciated state. The affidavit says the woman was cleaned with wipes, but she hadn't been showered in over 5 years. Sepulveda remains here in the Guadalupe County Jail. She's under a $300,000 bond. Online records don't indicate that she has a court date yet. In Seguin, Sue Kalberg, KENS 5.
Fucking disgraceful. It is. I'm gonna show you something, man. Look, I'm looking at Law and Crime's article because they got the best articles. Them in New York Times, they got the best articles when you want to get all the information. And it says, Felisa Ann Sepulveda, 48, was taken into custody on February 28th after she brought her unnamed adult daughter in the Ascension Seton Hospital in Lulling, Texas, reportedly saying that her daughter was suffering from a cough for the past week. Now, remember, this woman looked like a skeleton when she came in there. According to an affidavit obtained by KENS, which is San Antonio's local news, the patient presented with much more serious symptoms, including pneumonia, malnutrition, and dehydration, and had the appearance of a concentration camp survivor. What you think about that? According to the affidavit, the hospital staff reported that the younger woman showed signs of severe caloric deficit for an extended period of time and was observed to be caked in human waste all over her body, her clothes, her her clothes had dirt and dried animal and human feces and urine and blood on them. So this girl was a fixture of whatever she was laying on, the way animals came and pissed and shit on her. You hear me? They pissed and shit on this woman because she became part of whatever she was laid up on and starved. The patient was also reported to have several bed sores from lying immobile and had rotting gums. Sepulveda reportedly told the hospital that her daughter was able to walk and feed herself, but the affidavit stated that the younger woman was so emaciated that doctors refuted her claim. In her interview with police, Sepulveda allegedly admitted that she cleaned her daughter with wipes and that she had not bathed or showered her daughter for over 5 years. The last time she was brought to a doctor was 2018. That's the last time she cleaned her up. So this girl was suffering for a long time. The affidavit stated that there was no medical reason for the woman's emaciation and malnutrition. Listen to this part. Local news outlet also reported that the home where Sepulveda lived with her 2 adult children had 29 dogs on the property. The dogs were removed from the home and taken into local shelters and foster homes. Sepulveda, who was reportedly unemployed, was the sole caregiver of both her daughter and a disabled adult son. So there's another one. Sepulveda was arrested and charged with felony injury to a disabled person. She is currently in custody in the Guadalupe County Jail with a $300,000 bond. Why does she have a bond? I ask you, why does she have a bond? Why does this piece of shit have a bond? If that was a man, he'd have no bond. You know why? Because in life, in the justice system, they look at men as supposed to know better. What about the women? This is bullshit. I'd take her outside and deglove her face right now. This girl had bed sores all over. She was stuck, immobilized for the longest time. You had 29 dogs. I bet they was eating, but your own daughter wasn't. How are dogs around a girl that's immobile enough to where they jumping around all over, pissing and shitting all over? How was that allowed? See, this thing got so bad and out of hand that you probably didn't even want to go in there and look at her because the room stank. Hell, your old house stank. You got 29 goddamn dogs, and the way she was looking, you didn't care. And you didn't want to deal with it. You one of them people that be like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. You treated this woman like a pet that you didn't want. But you knew you had to take care of, so you just looked for the signs. Well, now she got real bad from being in that vegetative, emaciated state. Now you take her to the hospital, and you don't want to get in trouble, so you ain't got time to clean her up. You take her in there and try to act like all of the obvious didn't happen. Oh, she can sit up, she can walk, she can this, she can that. Yeah, okay, so who sits there and lets the animals just piss and shit on them and don't feed themselves? I'm dying to know what the condition of her other son is. I don't even know what's wrong with this woman. They never said what's wrong with her, but I know she shouldn't have been treated like that. And a handicapped adult is still a person. And you treated them like they were just something on the shelf to collect dust that you didn't want to clean up. Shame on you. Get the fuck out of here. Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. That girl, 32 years old. This woman, 48. So she had the child when she was 16 years old. And look at this shit right now. For some odd reason, you're starting to see a lot of people neglecting their children. And if you go back and you look a lot of times, when the time these children were conceived, they was born from a person that was a kid themselves. So a lot of valuable lessons in life they never learned, and one of them is be accountable. You brought a girl in there, looked like she was starving in the concentration camp, and try to act like shit ain't happened. How come so many people will not address the elephant in the room, even though the shit is piled up to the ceiling coming out of the damn room and everybody can smell it and see it, except the person that did the shit? Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.